The commercial landscape of the Southeast is experiencing unprecedented momentum, operating at full capacity with real estate serving as a principal anchor for sustainable economic expansion. Within this high-stakes market, navigating property acquisition requires more than just capital. It demands visionary leadership and structurally sound execution. Our guest on the program represents the absolute pinnacle of this sector. Joining us in the studio is Dr. Aworoke Ogbimi, the General Manager of COPEN Group, a powerhouse organization that has spent over 3 decades redefining the skyline and property standards of the region. Today, he joins us exclusively to dissect real estate accessibility, infrastructure delivery, and the upcoming landmark industry unveiling in Enugu. Dr. Ogbimi, it's a privilege to have you here on the program.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here also.
Okay, COPEN Group is hosting the unveiling of a home for every dream, right? And a house for every pocket on Tuesday, the 9th of June, at the Ahmadiyya Event Center in Enugu. What was the core inspiration behind organizing the specific event, and why is this the right moment for Enugu residents to engage with it?
Excellent. So now, COPEN Group, like you mentioned, has been involved in housing delivery for the last 31 years. Now, it's part of our vision. Threefold vision is mentoring poverty elevation and very critically housing for all. So it's been part of our vision to make sure that everybody who deserves a home gets a home, and everybody truly does deserve a home. Now, we have in partnership with partners from the Ministry of Finance Incorporated to the Federal Mortgage Bank to AG Mortgage Bank to the communities where we deliver these housing estates, to, of course, the wonderful people who buy from these housing estates, and, of course, the team behind COPEN that makes for this delivery of these houses. In partnership with these different groups and individuals, we've been able to see a need that we can get housing to people, we can democratize housing to people, right? So people no longer, that thing of thinking that housing is an exclusive preserve of a few. We're taking it further to say, no, housing is for all. We've been committed to this vision for decades, and we're bringing developments into Enugu that they're happening in the different geopolitical zones of this country, right? But COPEN has been able to attract the one for the Southeast as a whole into Enugu. And we are bringing that on Tuesday next week. Not only that project, but so many project offerings. What we are doing is a delivery across a diagonal audience from those people who may not be able to access properties that are so high in value to the ones that may appear to access properties that are much higher in value. So it's a diagonal audience. That's why you have the caption, a home for every dream, a house for every pocket. So you may have seen billboards around the town, but the time for you to engage with those billboards and engage with the people behind the billboards is next week, Tuesday, on the 9th, like you said, at Ahmadiyya Event Center.
Very well. So a standout claim in the event promotion is the idea that it is possible to be paying rent and end up owning the house. So
Absolutely.
Since this will undoubtedly be the major point of interest at the Ahmadiyya Event Center, could you give our viewers a preview of how the COPEN model makes this transition seamless?
Excellent. Now, what we've done, many people will hear about so many estates around town. If you're in Enugu, you've heard about the Bethel estates of this world, the Goshen estates, the Jubilee estates, the Ellen. Some people call the estate thinking that that's the company. But it's COPEN that is behind all this. Now, we've had testimonials all over the place because by the grace of God, we have been able to deliver over 3,000 housing units across the nation, not just in the Southeast, but across the nation. And people have been able to literally get houses that they are paying mortgages on. You have mortgages as low as 6% per annum. I mean, if you think about 6% per annum, it's stable throughout the period within which they're paying for these mortgages. Now, you find situations where I personally I have taken a mortgage, so I'm speaking from experience now. My mortgage rate, for example, is 23,202 naira 61 kobo. So that's what I pay every month for my own mortgage. I have colleagues who are paying as low as 17,000 naira in today's day for a 3-bedroom bungalow here in Enugu State. So if you look at that, that's under 300,000 as rent, as what I'm paying as my mortgage rate. But the rental on that property, you find out that it has grown over the years. You have places in Enugu where people are paying as much as 1 million, 2 million, 3 million for the same type of property. But what we are saying is that you can convert that your rent to mortgage, and your rent will no longer just fade away into oblivion, but it will actually become part of the purchase of the house wherein you're already living. So the beauty about the mortgage plan, like you tried to mention, we have so many testimonials on our website and all the places, the social media handles, you can go there and check and verify. But the idea is this: people who are currently paying mortgage, maybe paying rentals, maybe paying higher than what they should have paid if they were doing a mortgage. So the program next week on Tuesday the 9th will unveil to people how they probably have been cheating themselves over so many years now. And then we'll begin to transit from people being tenants to people owning their own homes. And then it will help also with the general framework of housing within the state and within the region, because we believe that with the additional stock of housing units, the demand and supply curve will also will be inclined in a positive direction in view of the people. Thank you.
Okay. So the prospect of buying property can feel daunting, especially for young professionals and first-time buyers trying to establish their roots. What foundational steps should they be taking right now so their current knowledge and experience do not block their pathway to home ownership?
I think the first foundational step would be to believe. Just to believe, right? Because there's that disbelief about the different schemes that are out there, orchestrated by the federal government, the state government, and the enabling environment that has been created. People feel it's for a select few, but we are challenging that narrative. We have challenged it over the years to say that it's not for a select few. People need to first of all believe. The second thing is that they should come for the program, right? Because if they don't, it will be a disservice to themselves. They would have missed out on an opportunity that doesn't always come repeatedly. What we're also doing, and it's important to mention at that event, is that before, it's starting by 10 o'clock, and we do not do African time in COPEN. So it's starting by 10 o'clock, and before that, by 9 a.m., so people don't feel, okay, the African time thing, by 9 a.m., there will already be networking sessions with people to help them see and interact with the different institutions like the Federal Mortgage Bank, the Ministry of Finance Incorporated. These will be on ground real time to engage with the people, to see what necessary registrations they need to do with the banks, to see what profiling needs to be doing. We're also going to have a housing clinic, just like you have a doctors in the hospital. Yeah. So a housing clinic to analyze each person, because each person comes on his own merit. Right? So it's going to be a case where we're taking people from where they are to the point of home acquisition and finally handing over of keys after a certain period once they fulfill the terms and conditions that are pertinent.
Okay, so the whole process basically is, for me, I'm already seeing it's very inspirational.
You're seeing yourself in your own house right now.
But COPEN Group has been operating with extensive experience in the industry when creating housing solutions designed to fit every pocket. How does the organization leverage its background to ensure that structural integrity and craftsmanship never get compromised?
No, it's a very beautiful question, and thank you for that question, because the interesting thing about COPEN is that we didn't start with real estate development. As far back as 2005, from as far back as then, we've been consultants to the Federal Mortgage Bank. We've been consultants to the World Bank. So we came in from the platform of consultancy. So by that I mean that from the very roots of what does it take to deliver quality accommodation to people? What does it take to make sure that there's structural integrity in the houses? So it's not just paint over something that is carton, right? Basically. So we've come from that perspective to be sure that what we promise we deliver. And by the grace of God, we've not had any abandoned project across the country. And what we have done over the years is to see that we keep on scaling. So if you've seen a COPEN estate, you saw the old model, right? Okay. What you're going to see will be the improved version at every point in time. So why I'm saying that is because someone may have seen the different estates that I mentioned a short while ago. But what you saw was the old model. So we're asking you to come to this event on the 9th, and you would see the improved version of what you had known was COPEN. And you will see the improved version of what you can be living in the next 1 year, should you meet the terms that are required for that to happen.
Very well. So as a real estate expert operating in Enugu, what shifts have you observed in the types of properties or community amenities people are demanding today compared to 5 or 10 years ago?
Let me put it this way. We have been ahead of the shifts. And I'll explain, there's something we call the COPEN standard. Now, what does that mean? I'm sure you're already asking that question in your mind. What does that mean? The COPEN standard, you get into COPEN estates and you basically see what you call a boulevard. Now, it's not just a narrow road where you are barely able to accommodate both vehicular and human traffic. We do the wide roads thing. We make for communal centers. We make for green areas. We make for places where people can be sure that they're done with every commercial activity before they come into the space where they can basically rest and commune with their families and communities that they are now immersed with. So you see a situation where we also make sure that, you have alleys now where people can ride bicycles in the estates. And these are things that so we started doing these things way before people could appreciate that that's what they need for very healthy living. We've even gone beyond that to move into the newer trends. Interestingly, we are piloting the what we call the COPEN Healthy Homes. And it's something I think you should come in to see someday. Now, what is it, a healthy home about? It's a home where literally we have ventilation systems that take out bad air. It tracks the quality of the air within the house. So the indoor air quality is tracked. You have systems, you have your lifts in case you're getting elderly and you really can't climb steps and all that. That has been catered for you. You have the houses that are off-grid, so they are fully on solar. You have houses that you be sure you have a swimming pool. So all the things that make for life and living have been provided in the estates, ahead of what people even really understand that they need. But very importantly, it's also good to say at this point that we not only have provided all of this, but we understand where people are, which is why sometimes there's a challenge between needs and wants. So we try in this different affordability clinics that we're running on the 9th next week, we try to also help people see where they are and what they can afford to get, while also letting them see the trajectory within which they can grow to enter into that El Dorado they've always wanted to get into. Yeah.
Okay. So the caption of the event warns, people not to let their past experiences or current knowledge block their pathway to owning a home. What are the most common misconceptions or negative past experiences that you find hold potential homeowners back, and how will Tuesday address that?
For one of the things I mentioned is belief.
Yeah.
I would also say very quickly that some people feel that it is impossible to own a home in this economy. That's a misconception. I've seen it over and over again, not in Enugu. In other parts of the Southeast, I've seen it in other parts of the country. I've seen literally, now let me give you how far it gets. In some of our estates, people who have been, working with us, vendors, carpenters, people who supply rods, they have houses, which we've, under God, been able to help guide them to see the trajectory, because these people earn money. Now, I've taken it to that level to tell someone out there that if a carpenter, if a painter could get a house on a mortgage because he was able to track his finances, it's verifiable before the banks, and they can profile him and see that he's able to take this, then I don't know what is holding you back from taking your own property from COPEN. So that's why we're asking that if this can happen. I've taken these people not because of any other thing, but just to show you that it's possible. So many people feel that it's out of their preserve. They cannot get accommodation. They feel it's too expensive in this economy. But I'm saying that with what we're bringing to bear by next week, Yes, the school fees are there. Yes, the fueling is there. They say there's so many expenses, disposable income is so small. But we are saying that with the disposable income you have, it is still possible to get home ownership. Yes.
Very well. So, because I had a question that I wanted to
Go
ask
ahead.
concerning, who your target audience is. But now you've mentioned carpenter. I'm really thinking that, it means it's just anybody.
It's
Target
a home
audience
for
is
every dream and a house for every pocket. So we're not excluding anybody. If you're an investor and you're thinking about where will my investments best yield value, I can tell you for free that we've had testimonials. So it's not what we want to do, it's what we have done over the last 30 years. We have testimonials of people who have literally keyed in a space of 5 years, the properties have gone not in our home, but because of the value of put behind those things, have gone from where they invested. You've gone fivefold, you've gone sixfold in a space of 5 years. Very few businesses can do that for you. So from investor right down to the man walking on the street listening to us this morning, yes, you should be there next week Tuesday by 9 a.m.
Okay, so for viewers watching who might not be looking for a primary residence but are interested in real estate for a long-term investment vehicle, how does the house for every pocket model present a viable return on investment?
Great. So I just try to allude to that right now, but let me now deepen it further, if you may.
Please go ahead.
So we have properties that far back we sold at Bethel Estate. Let me give examples now. I like to use figures so it's easy. Now in Bethel Estate we sold for as low as 2.5 million for a 2-bedroom. For a 3-bedroom bungalow there was about 4.3 million. Now this was in 2008. We delivered in August 2008. That's when we commissioned it. So the Federal Mortgage Bank project. Now I hear that people who had done paying their mortgages, people who bought maybe on the installments option who were done as at that time, I hear that what was 4.3 is now going for as much as 63-70 million naira.
Wow.
Yes, and that was 2008. But hold it there. I'm coming closer to you now.
Okay.
In more recent times, in some of the estates where we delivered a house at this was 2018, we delivered at 15 million. 3-bedroom, fully detached bungalow with a boys' quarter space and lots of space in the compound to park vehicles in a beautiful estate in a good part of town, Enugu Urban. Now, I hear. Now, this is not me. This is secondary and tertiary markets. I hear that those properties now are doing above 100 million. So think about it. From 15 million to over 100 million between 2018 and now. Actually, 2021, because some were finished around that period. So in 5 years, literally, you've moved from 15 to over 100. So if any investor is listening to me, I would like you to match it side by side with other investment vehicles, whether it's shares, whether it's whatever it is, and find out whether you've made that kind of investment on other investment vehicles. If you've not, Tuesday next week is your date.
Okay, so just one more question before we wrap it
Please
up.
go ahead.
So when the doors close at the end of the event on Tuesday, now, what is the ultimate impact or action step that COPEN Group hopes every single participant will walk away with?
Every participant will walk away with the pathway to them either owning their homes or getting an investment in housing. And they will not only see what is possible, they will see the steps to which they will take to make that investment dream of theirs or their desire to own that first home. They will see how it will be actionable and we will action it. So it is not just theory. That's why we're bringing all the stakeholders from the Ministry of Finance Incorporated to the Federal Mortgage Bank, to the Primary Mortgage Bank, AG Mortgage Bank. We've partnered with them severally over the last decade. So we're bringing each of these institutions. So after we have shown you the pathway to owning your own home or making that additional investment in ownership, would also give you the baby steps, right? You get forms to fill. You can actually close deals on that day. Yes, so you actually close it because we have, by the grace of God, we've been able to have properties all over quite a wide range across the nation. So you can pick and choose from different options. And also at the end of that, you would also see there's a little secret, but something will reveal on that day.
Okay.
There's something that would unveil that will make it easier for you to sit somewhere and run through this process within a twinkle of an eye.
Okay, and that little secret will only be revealed to those who attend.
Yes, to those who attend. That's why it's so important that you come in there,
Okay.
on the 9th. That's Tuesday next week from 9 a.m. because that's when networking starts. The event flags off for 10. Yes, no African time.
Okay.
Yes, we're changing the narrative. We don't believe in African time. We believe that there's a time where everybody has agreed to meet. We should meet. We should respect people's timing and be able to move on from there.
Very well.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And that's the much that we can take on the Eastern Business Report. The Afia Business Morning returns tomorrow. Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Cherry Ojukwu. Coming up next is Onyafia. Bye for now.